What happens when a roster loaded with Pro Bowl talent can't win games? Is it the players, or is someone's coaching philosophy fundamentally broken? The anger is palpable in Atlanta right now, folks. 5 straight losses. Overtime heartbreakers. A division that should be gift-wrapped with a bow sitting just out of reach. And now, for the first time this season, we're hearing what many Falcons faithful have been screaming since October. Raheem Morris's seat isn't just warm, it's scorching hot. CBS Sports dropped a bombshell report that confirms what's been whispered in hallways and shouted on social media. People inside the Falcons organization are feeling the heat, and there are no guarantees with 6 games remaining. Translation: Morris is coaching for his professional life, and the next month and a half will determine whether he's leading this franchise into 2026 or updating his LinkedIn profile. Let's break down exactly what's happening in Atlanta, why this coaching staff is under the microscope, and what needs to happen for the Falcons to salvage this season or blow it up entirely. The CBS report. What we know: Jack Jones from CBS Sports didn't mince words in his insider report. Here's the critical excerpt that has Falcons Nation buzzing. Those in the building feel their seats warming, and there's no guarantees of anything with 6 games remaining. Second-year head coach Raheem Morris is over a group of individuals that have lost 5 straight. You won't find someone who doesn't want to coach this roster. Read that last sentence again. You won't find someone who doesn't want to coach this roster. That's not just commentary. That's a league-wide assessment that Atlanta's talent is championship caliber, and the only thing standing between this team and success is the man calling the shots on Sunday. This isn't speculation from talking heads or hot takes from frustrated fans. This is sourced information from people with direct knowledge of the Falcons' front office dynamics. Arthur Blank and Terry Fontenot are watching. They're evaluating, and they're clearly not thrilled with what they're seeing. Morris inherited a roster that includes Drake London and Darnell Mooney at receiver Bijan Robinson, and Tyler Allgeier in the backfield Kyle Pitts. One of the most physically gifted tight ends in football, a defense featuring Jesse Bates III, A.J. Terrell, Grady Jarrett, and emerging stars like Caden Ellis and J.D. Bertrand. This isn't a rebuilding project. This is a playoff-ready roster that's underperforming catastrophically. And when talent isn't the issue, the microscope turns directly to coaching. The Kirk Cousins conundrum. Here's where things get fascinating and frustrating. Against the New Orleans Saints, Kirk Cousins looked like a completely different quarterback than the one who struggled through the previous month. Why? Because offensive coordinator Zach Robinson finally adjusted the scheme. Morris himself admitted that Cousins has significant input into the offensive game plan, saying Kirk comes into meetings and says, "I love this concept. I love this protection. I love the scheme." Wait a minute. Let's pause right there. If Kirk Cousins, a 36-year-old veteran with over a decade of NFL experience, needs to tell your offensive coordinator what plays work, what exactly is your offensive coordinator doing? Why wasn't this collaborative approach happening with Michael Penix Jr.? The Saints game revealed something damning. Atlanta ran 13 personnel, 1 running back, 3 tight ends, on 33 of 55 offensive plays, 60% of the time. That's the highest rate of any NFL offense since 2016. The result? Bijan Robinson had room to operate. The offensive line created push. Kirk had time in the pocket. The question that should infuriate every Falcons fan: why wasn't this the game plan all season? You have 4 tight ends on the roster: Kyle Pitts, Charlie Warner, Ross Dwelly, and Michael Pruitt. You drafted Pitts 8th overall in 2021 specifically because of his versatility. Yet for weeks, Robinson insisted on running spread formations and pistol concepts that got Penix and later Cousins absolutely demolished. The offensive line isn't suddenly better. The receivers didn't magically improve. What changed was scheme, and that falls squarely on coaching. The playoff math. Can Atlanta salvage this? Here's the brutal reality. The Falcons are still alive in the NFC South race. The division is mediocre enough that 9 or 10 wins might be sufficient to claim the crown. Atlanta's remaining schedule includes New York Jets below .500, Minnesota Vikings tough, Las Vegas Raiders below .500, New York Giants below .500, Washington Commanders competitive Carolina Panthers below .500. That's 4 games against struggling teams and 2 against playoff contenders. If Atlanta wins the should-win games and steals 1 upset, they're 9-8 and likely division champions. But here's the dilemma for Falcons fans. Do you want to make the playoffs if it means keeping Raheem Morris? It's the ultimate catch-22. Making the postseason would validate Morris's job security, potentially locking Atlanta into another year of questionable game management, conservative play calling, and head-scratching decisions. Missing the playoffs with this roster would be embarrassing, but it would also clear the path for a coaching change. Arthur Blank is one of the most patient owners in professional sports. He gave Dan Quinn extra chances. He stood by Mike Smith longer than most owners would have. But Blank also has championship expectations, and patience has limits. If the Falcons collapse down the stretch, losing winnable games against the Jets, Raiders, or Giants, it's hard to imagine Morris surviving. Conversely, if Atlanta rattles off 4 wins and sneaks into January football, Morris likely gets another year to prove himself. What needs to happen for success if Kirk Cousins and this offense are going to carry Atlanta into the playoffs? Here's the non-negotiable blueprint. Stay under center. The Falcons were dead last in under center snaps before the Saints game. That's unacceptable for a team trying to establish a power running game. Kirk operates best from under center. It allows him to read defenses pre-snap, use play action effectively, and get the ball out quickly. Commit to wide zone runs. Bijan Robinson is electric in space. He has elite vision, patience, and acceleration. Stop running him into stacked boxes on inside zone plays. Get him outside on wide zone concepts where he can make defenders miss and turn 4-yard gains into 15-yard explosions. Maximize the tight end room. You kept 4 tight ends for a reason. Use them. Move Pitts around. Put Warner and Dwelly in as extra blockers. Create mismatches. The 13 personnel package worked brilliantly against New Orleans. Make it a staple, not a one-game gimmick. Limit the pistol formation. Running pistol formations 36 times per game with Penix was madness. It telegraphs run-pass options, eliminates play-action effectiveness, and puts your quarterback in vulnerable positions. Keep pistol concepts to 8 to 10 plays maximum. Use them as change-ups, not as your base offense. The bigger picture, coaching carousel implications, here's what should terrify Falcons management. Other coaches want this job. League sources are already circling. Offensive minds around the NFL look at Atlanta's roster and see opportunity. They see Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts as foundational pieces. They see a defense with playmakers at all 3 levels. They see a franchise quarterback situation that, whether it's Cousins or Penix, provides stability. Names that could be in play if Atlanta makes a change. Ben Johnson, Lions offensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn, Lions defensive coordinator. Mike Vrabel, former Titans head coach. Bill Belichick, yes? Seriously, reports suggest he's interested in the right situation. The Falcons' job would be one of the most attractive openings in any coaching cycle. You inherit elite talent. You're in a weak division. The owner is patient and willing to spend. The fan base is passionate and starving for success. Morris knows this. Blank knows this. And that's why these next 6 games matter so much. The verdict: playoff push or coaching change. So, what's the realistic outcome here? Atlanta probably finishes 8-9 or 9-8. They'll beat the Jets, Raiders, and Panthers. They'll split with the Vikings and Commanders. And they'll fall just short of the playoffs or sneak in as a wild card before getting demolished in the first round. That mediocrity might be enough to save Morris's job, barely. Blank doesn't like making mid-course corrections, and a near .500 record with a playoff appearance, even one and done, could buy Morris another year. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This roster deserves better. The talent is there. The pieces are in place. What's missing is coaching excellence, the ability to scheme players open, make in-game adjustments, manage the clock effectively, and put your team in position to win close games. 5 straight losses, multiple overtime defeats, a division title slipping away. These aren't bad luck or fluky breaks. These are systemic failures that point directly to coaching inadequacies. The next 6 weeks will determine Raheem Morris's future in Atlanta. Will he rise to the moment, make the necessary adjustments, and lead this team to January football? Or will the pressure, the scrutiny, and the weight of expectations prove too much? Falcons fans have been patient. They've endured decades of heartbreak, playoff collapses, and missed opportunities. They deserve answers. They deserve accountability. And most importantly, they deserve a coaching staff that maximizes the incredible talent on this roster. The clock is ticking, the seat is hot, and the football world is watching to see if Raheem Morris can save his job, or if Atlanta's next head coach is already being discussed in NFL front offices across the country. What do you think happens over these final 6 games? Does Morris keep his job? Can Kirk lead this team to the playoffs? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button if you want more hard-hitting Falcons analysis. This is the most critical stretch of the season, and we'll be breaking down every game, every decision, and every coaching move that determines Atlanta's future. Rise up